pulled up your website and I see some of the language on here. We lead and empower our clients to achieve beyond what they thought possible in retirement because they deserve it. I believe that came directly out of kind of the Chris Smith, the brand manifesto work. Is that correct?
Yes, it did.
And how does that get embedded into the conversation in a first visit, in a seminar? Like how has that changed the conversation when you lead with something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that something that we haven't talked about that is really hard to contend with is the way that these potential clients have been trained to think, because all these things that we're talking about, like, have all been weaponized by advisors to subscribe to their sales process. The word fiduciary has been weaponized, the word fee only.
Yes.
And so all these clients, and I think it was it Kyle Van Pelt? He did a great job of talking about the evolution of, some of these sales process. So I think what that language does in these meetings is it disarms those people. It's like, hey, I totally understand that you've been trained to think that this is the most important thing to solve with a financial advisor. But let's get back to basics for a second. This is about you and living your life. Like, let me tell you what you deserve out of a financial advisor. And they're like, oh, okay. So, and even just saying like, hey, we're passionate about doing the right thing for people. We're passionate about getting information out. Hey, even if we never talk again, or, you just absorb our newsletter or our blogs and that is beneficial to your life, or if we give you great advice in this hour Envision meeting and you get to take that and change the rest of your course, hey, so be it. It's disarming to people. They're like, whoa, I felt no pressure. I felt no sales. I just sat in front of a person that had nothing in mind but my true best interest. And it wasn't weaponized to talk smack about all the other advisors out there. That's super disarming. So we started implementing that language into workshops and seminars almost immediately. At the beginning of every seminar or workshop, we do, by the way, Vantage Point, home of the 6 worlds, not 5 worlds. At the beginning of all of our presentations, we start with, at least in our Chicago office, we start with a presentation of the 6 worlds, and we kind of inject that language right away. Like, hey, having this done right and in your best interest is the way to make your money work harder for you than it's ever worked before. And it's a way to make sure that you live a life and a retirement beyond what you thought possible. Like, you deserve this. And I want you to really think and stop for a second and consider is this something that you already do on your own or with an advisor? And if it's not, then you truly need to start exploring whether or not you could benefit from this. And then since we started doing that, we have people come up to us on the break of these presentations, which, by the way, we're doing a lot of presentations through nonprofits and we're not allowed to sell. So we cannot make a pitch on our services at these things. And we make that clear. And people come up to us at the break and they're like, hey, so I want to be respectful of the fact that this is through a nonprofit and you're not selling, but like, how soon can we talk about working together? Because that's what I'm interested in. And I'm telling you, like, that's the only thing we changed, is injecting that language and having an authentic message. And it's like, people are knocking on our door now instead of us like trying to find an in to talk to them about our services. It's incredible.
That's cool. And that's the thing that the longer I'm in this industry, I always knew words mattered, but words matter so much. Just and if how intentional you are with them and the way you say them in confidence versus, oh, well, we kind of believe that this, and it's amazing to see that, because number one, you all did the work, which that's the hardest part, is extracting that. And it's deep work, right? You can't kind of half-ass that sort of work. But I want to rewind. Like, it's so fun to, like, I feel like I've known you guys forever, probably because of the Shanty Rose, but we're only really like not even 2 years into this journey. No. And the massive evolution that I've already seen from you all, which is a testament to you all showing up as students, putting in the work, putting in the effort, and then actually implementing the work, you know, into your seminars, into your appointments. But I'm looking at your website right now, and I want to go back because I want to make sure I'm not misremembering this. When we were sitting in SHP's conference room with, you know, Plymouth Harbor right behind us, Keith Ellis in there, probably cracking some awkward jokes like he does, and that's what I love about him. Was the name of your process the Elevated Retirement Plan at that point? I'm trying to remember if you'd named it at that point or not.
No,
Didn't have a
not
name.
even close.
Did you have a name of your, what I would call planning process, or was it just we do financial plans?
Holistic planning.
Yeah, a holistic plan. Come on,
Yeah.
Brad.
Nice and
Very-
So
very
okay,
original.
so this is fun. So you all are now reminding me of a firm I talked with in Kansas City. This is years back. They were managing a bill. By the way, they were managing $1 billion, and had a really cool presence on radio. And I talked with the founder, and I was like, "Well, why are you guys different than other advisors in the Kansas City market?" And he goes, and by the way, he said this like not joking. He said this like very with full confidence. He said, "Well, we build financial plans." And I looked at him and I was like, what do you think the other guys say they do? And it was like this big aha moment. He goes, they probably say they build financial plans, don't they? I go, yeah. So how do your prospects know the difference? And so back to your, we build holistic plans. Well, yeah, so does everybody else. Welcome to being a financial advisor. Not everybody, but you know, they probably say
They do. They say they
Yeah,
do.
yeah. And but here's what's cool. You guys were actually building great plans. You were doing the hard part of it. It just wasn't packaged and messaged in a way where it differentiated you all, where the people you were talking to knew that you did. And so what I see is we use McDonald's references a lot around here. It's like McDonald's is in the most commoditized business in the world, the hamburger business. So there's a hamburger stand in every small little town, like even Minneapolis, Kansas, that has 2,000 people. But what McDonald's did was productized the hamburger, turned it into something unique to them, the Big Mac, and that's the only place you can get it. Well, you guys take CFP standard-based financial planning and you packaged it, and now you've messaged it in a way that's unique and distinct to you. And I also saw this shift where you were like really trying to charge people. And it was kind of like, well, they're kind of resisting the fee and they're not sure they want to move forward. So where you just change the game and you're like, hey, here's what we're about. Here's what we're not. We want to serve you. If you want to take the next step, here's how it works. We move everything over, ACAT it, put the team to work, and we'll move forward. And it was just like, boom, you were off to the races from there. And I think, Nick, your first one was a big one. Like the first time you tried that different conversation, it was a multi-million-dollar case, wasn't it?
Yeah, it worked out quite well. And I was just convicted and like, all right, we're going to try this new approach. And, you know, I've got the old approach and, you know, and standby if we need to at the last minute, but, you know, practice the language a little bit and it worked. I mean, I was when the clients, they had $4 million and they're great clients now, but when they said, yeah, we'd like to move forward, I was like, wait a minute, did you say yes?
What nothing. Hey, what I love, man, is you're like, I'm going to try this new process out, but I'm not going to try it on like just like a 500K case. I'm just going to swing for the fences, 4 million right out of the gates. Let's just test it on a big one.